around you. And to make that easy for you, ladies and gentlemen, we present Freshlight, where we bring fresh newspaper headlines to the limelight. Mondays to Saturdays, 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. Watch, like, subscribe, and make sure your notification is activated on our YouTube channel. You can also like and comment on our pages on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Al-IyamoyeTv and radio.
It's a beautiful one. It's a new day, a beautiful morning from this side. Good morning to you. Welcome to Freshlight on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. This is where we save you the stress of going through the newspapers of the day. We tell you where particular stories can be found. So welcome to newspaper. Welcome to newspaper review, Freshlight on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. My name is Risqat Funmilayo.
Okay, you're welcome to Freshlight, where we save you that stress. We'll be taking different newspapers this morning: Punch, The Vanguard, and The Nation, for your excitement. This morning, I remain Oluwafisayomi, Ajibola. Let's quickly look at the few cover stories on The Nation newspaper.
Picking the first paper on the Freshlight this morning, I'll be starting with The Nation newspaper. Lagos Blue Line Rail to operate from August. You can find this story on the page 6 of the Nation newspaper. Newspaper of the exchange rate determines airfares, says IATA travelers to pay more. Naira weakens to $765 US. You can find this on page 7 of the Nation newspaper. And going to the bold headlines, I'll be picking this bold headline. Tinubu tells investors. NLC cautions against electricity tariffs hike. LP Obi's witnesses contradict each other at election tribunal. These are many more stories you are going to find on the Nation newspaper. And going into the details of the Nation newspaper this morning.
Okay, let's start with we've removed obstacles to growth. Tinubu tells investors. President promises more investment-friendly reform. Nigeria seeks UK support in war against insecurity. Are the riders for this story. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu yesterday began concentration moves to attract foreign investors. He rekindled their confidence in Nigeria as he said that all obstacles to growth have been removed. He did say this in a meeting with some investors in France. To read details of that story, you pick up the copy of the Nation newspaper.
Okay, picking my first story on the Nation newspaper. NLC cautions against electricity tariffs hike. Organized Labour Party yesterday cautioned the federal government against planned hike in electricity tariffs, saying it will increase the burden on the Nigerians. Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) said with the removal of petrol subsidy and the unification of Naira exchange rate, many Nigerians are reeling under the financial pressure. An official of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission (NERC) confirmed that a review of multi-year tariff order is ongoing and will be implemented from July.
Billion naira to FG, states, councils in May. The details are it that the Federation Account Allocation Committee (FAAC) has shared 786.161 billion naira from the May 2023 federal allocation revenue to the federal government, state, and local government councils. This is more than the 655,932 billion it shared from April revenue in May 2023 by 130.299 billion naira. This is the first FAC meeting chaired by the new Accountant General of the Federation, Dr. Oluwafisayomi. The communique at the end of the meeting said the total distributed revenue comprised distributable statutory revenue. To read details of that story on the Nation newspaper, You will search for FAC, share 786.161 billion naira to FG, state councils in May.
Moving to Vanguard newspaper, FRS to end multiple taxation collect market traders VAT. You can find this on page 3 of the Vanguard newspaper. Presidential poll, INEC wiped off results in Beavers. Forensic expert tells court. You can find this on the page 9 of Vanguard newspaper. Dollar video, Kano anti-graft agency boss vows to reopen Ganduje case. Nigerians have lost confidence in judiciaries. This is coming from lawyers. Page 25 captured this story this morning. Dokpesi buried in country home Agenebode. Page 7 of Vanguard newspaper captured this story. I'm picking the bold headline: NLC, TUC, CSOs rise against hike in electricity. You can find this story on the page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. Presidency denies approving salary increase for political office holders. This is coming from judiciary. Page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper captured this. These are many more stories you are going to find on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And going into the details of the story.
Check out for NLC, TUC, CSOs rise against hike in electricity tariff. The Nigerian Labour Congress NLC, Trade Union Congress TUC, and Civil Society Organization CSOs yesterday rejected the planned 40% hike in electricity tariff, which takes effect on July 1, calling on government to shelve the increase. While the NLC described the proposed increase in tariff as insensitive and callous, TUC said it is the height of insensitivity to the suffering of the masses of the country. On their part, CSO asked government to immediately shelve the proposed tariff hike, describing it as unfair and unjustifiable. It should be recalled that in announcing the tariff increase, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission (NERC) has said that it was benchmarked on an exchange rate of 441 per dollar and inflation of 16.97%. NLC, TUC, CSO rise against hike in electricity tariff. That is available on Vanguard newspaper this morning.
Okay, moving to another story on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Presidential poll, INEC wipe off results in Beavers. Forensic expert tells court. A digital forensic expert, Mr. Hitler Nwala, on Thursday narrated before the Presidential Poll Petition Court, PEPC, sitting in Abuja, how he uncovered that the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, wiped off results of the presidential election that held on the February 25th. Mr. Nwala mounted the box as the 25th witness of the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who is challenging the declaration of President Bola Tinubu of the ruling All Progressive Congress, APC, as the winner of the presidential election. Testifying before the Justice Haruna Samanin led 5-member panel. The witness alleged that were contained in the bimodal voter accreditation system (BVAS) machines that they were deployed for the conduct of the election. To read details of this story, you can go to the Vanguard newspaper. It has this headline: Presidential poll, INEC wiped off results in BVAS. Forensic expert tells court.
Okay, taking the last story from Vanguard before moving on to the Punch newspaper. 114% salary increase. Obi slams Tinubu, others. Following the recent report on different platforms that the federal government is set to increase the salaries of the president, the vice president, judicial workers, and others by 114%, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, has reprimanded the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscals Commission (RMAFC) for the recently proposed 114% salary increase for elected officials and public office holders in the country. He also slammed politicians, including President Bola Tinubu and his vice, for allowing this to take place. Obi, in a series of tweets on Thursday, expressed disappointment over what he called an insensitive salary increase for political office holders. To read the description given to this proposal of 114 salary increase, Pick up a copy of Vanguard newspaper. There Obi react with slam on Tinubu and others.
Picking the last newspaper on Freshlight this morning, I will have the Punch newspaper. FG states local governments share 786 billion naira as May revenue. You can find this on page 24 of the Punch newspaper. Labour discourse on coalitions cause over electricity tariff hike. Terrorists planning attacks on religious fund centers. DSS warns. You can find this on the page 28 of the Punch newspaper. Federal government 10 trillion naira revenue can't stop fresh borrowing. This is coming from DMO. Government to issue promissory notes as judgment debt nears 3 trillion naira. Picking the bold headline, DMO worries over low revenue as Nigerians debt nears 81 trillion naira. You can find all these stories on the page 19 of the Punch newspaper. Ogun top as NPC registered 49,000 deaths in 6 months. You can find this on the page 13. And lastly, on the Punch newspaper, Oshiomhole Adeleke others bid farewell as Duplessis buried. You can find this on page 14 of the Punch newspaper. And going into the details of the story.
DMO worries over low revenue as Nigerians' debt nears 81 trillion. Nigerians' total public debt may hit 81.64 trillion naira this year, according to the findings by the Punch. The figure was arrived at based on the 2022 Debt Sustainability Analysis Report by the Debt Management Office. According to the Debt Office, the increase in total public debt to GDP to 37.1% in 2023 from 23.4% as of September 2022 was due to the inconclusion of an estimated 8.8 trillion naira 2023 debt. The government Ways and Means debt of over 23 trillion, an estimated approximate note issuance of 2.87 trillion naira in the debt stock. Well, to read details of that financial report, details of Nigerian debt profile, pick up a copy of Punch newspaper and search for DMO worries over debt of Nigeria.